Hi there, I'm Seb Maley from Qdos, and in this video we'll be looking at what happens and what things will be like for contractors now the IR35 reform is finally here. Since IR35 was originally introduced 21 years ago, there have been numerous further legislative and tax changes that have had a direct and often negative impact on contractors. But the reform to IR35 itself in the private sector from the 6th of April 2021 is without doubt the most significant shift and will have had a very immediate impact for a lot of people. The changes were a long time coming. Since similar rules were brought into the public sector in 2017, it was only a matter of time before the government looked to extend them into the private sector. We obviously had a COVID-related delay last year, and a lot of people hoped for another deferral this year, but that wasn't to be. So what happens now? Well, I think a lot of contractors will be wondering if there's a market left for outside IR35 roles. In the lead up to the changes, there are a lot of reports of organisations banning the use of limited company contractors entirely, particularly in banking and financial services. Because negative stances like these are the ones that get reported on, contractors could be forgiven for thinking that the road was coming to an end. However, the reality is that many organisations have really embraced their continued need for contractors and, importantly, have also embraced the manner in which contractors should be engaged and treated. By the 6th of April, we had carried out several thousand determinations for private sector companies with a high proportion resulting in outside IR35 decisions, and there are obviously other companies like Qdos providing a similar service. So there certainly is still a market out there, and in time that will really propagate and create a competitive environment. I'd be very surprised if we didn't see a gradual softening of some of those hardline stances we've heard so much about. In the short term, some contractors wouldn't have had much choice and will have been forced to move to PAYE arrangements, fixed term contracts, or to use an umbrella company. Umbrella companies are really under the spotlight at the moment, particularly around how they deal with holiday pay for contractors. Unfortunately, but probably not unsurprisingly, we have also seen a big increase in tax avoidance schemes, often dressed up as umbrella companies, who are looking to capitalise on the legislative changes to entice contractors into their arrangements. You would hope it goes without saying, but it's more important than ever for contractors to be very alert to these risks and to do as much due diligence as possible before signing up with any payroll type organisation. One positive from the reform is that the tax risk around IR35 has moved away from contractors unless their client is a small company. Having faced this potential liability for 20 years, it will be refreshing for contractors who are still in outside roles to know that HMRC would not be attacking them for any unpaid tax. There is, of course, a retrospective risk for contracts before the 6th of April this year, and that has been of particular concern for contractors whose roles have been determined as inside IR35. The natural fear is that inside determinations will be ready-made evidence for HMRC to go after historic tax liabilities. It is a risk, but HMRC have said that they will not do this on a targeted basis, and in reality, I think they are more likely to focus their resources elsewhere. That being said, it's probably still worth contractors having some form of protection for these retrospective risks. In terms of the reform itself, we don't know exactly when or how HMRC will start policing the market, but we are likely to see compliance activity over the course of the next year or 18 months. This shouldn't really involve contractors directly, but it'll be interesting to see how HMRC go about it, and then any impact that might have on the market as a whole. We've also got quite a few key status cases that will be heard this year. The most notable is a Court of Appeal case involving the PGMOL, which is the body representing Football League referees. It's not an IR35 case, but it could set a precedent on a number of key issues which would filter through to IR35 and the off-payroll rules. As always, if you have any specific questions, please get in touch. Subscribe to our channel for more useful video content, and we'll see you again soon.